So this video that we finna watch is called The Secret Behind Chance's Comeback. And now, I know that Chance recently dropped a project, but I haven't taken the time to react to it. I wanted to do it on stream, but I've been caught up doing a bunch of other stuff, so that might be coming soon. And honestly, this video is going to be the deciding factor, you feel me? If I feel like this video makes me want to check out the album, I will. But that's kind of what we're checking out today. I know that Chance dropped some singles recently, and I've been hearing some whispers like, yo, Chance is dropping, and people have been saying good things. And when the project dropped, I didn't hear too much, but I heard more positive than I heard negative, you feel me? So I'm pretty excited to see what this guy has to say about Chance and whether or not he believes Chance made or is on the verge of making a comeback. So let's check out what they talking about here in this video. Let's check out Chance's comeback.
This is effectively a bounce back for Chance. It's a lot better than The Big Day.
It's my favorite body of work of yours since Acid Rap.
This is peak Chance the Rapper.
It has been.
This is like the him at his best.
After 6 tough years as the internet's punching bag, Chance the Rapper is finally receiving the praise he's long been waiting for. But how did this same guy who dropped one of the most hated albums of all time just pull off the impossible and prove everyone wrong? And more importantly, is Chance the Rapper actually back? Because while the majority of reviews and fans are showing a lot of love, as we're about to see though, unfortunately the sales numbers tell us the exact opposite. For those too young to remember, about 10 years ago, Chance the Rapper was honestly looked at like hip-hop's next superstar, with some even saying he would replace and be the next Drake. Following the release of Chance's first 3 mixtapes, 10 Day, Acid Rap, and then Coloring Book in 2016, which gave us hits like No Problem with Lil Wayne, in addition to his work with Inspiration and fellow Chicago native Kanye West, as well as hosting his own A-list festival at the White Sox Stadium, which I actually attended, again, early Chance the Rapper could not miss.
Grammy goes to Chance the Rapper.
Glory be to God.
This guy right here in the back with long hair is named Pat Corcoran, but despite being only one of 2 people to join Chance on stage for his big Grammy moment, Pat would soon be the one to expose the truth behind Chance's downfall. And as it turns out, as his former manager, this $2.5 million lawsuit not only reveals why The Big Day was so trash, but also how it totally destroyed Chance's reputation.
In this instance, I have never seen an artist go so quickly from beloved superstar to almost total pariah that many fans and listeners just lost faith in overnight.
Did the reaction to that album with you at all?
Of course. I think it will for anybody.
In order to understand just how much of an improvement Chance the Rapper's new album Starline actually is, first we have to look at the massive disaster of his previous and the complete lack of effort he put forth, which even Chance admits that The Big Day was awful, rapping these lyrics on his new album's intro.
I had an F-, but that's behind us.
Specifically calling The Big Day a quote F-, which I think we all agree. But what exactly made this album so bad? If you're fortunate enough to have never listened to The Big Day, although artists drop bad projects every year, I honestly don't think I've ever seen one album do as much damage to an artist's career as this one did to Chance. Labeled as his official debut album, typically a key moment in an artist's career, taking over 3 years between his last project though, fans were expecting some of Chance the Rapper's best work. However, when the album finally dropped in 2019, we were instead met with, this.
Life is short as a midget, but mine's a little LeBron. Peanut butter jelly with a baseball bat. Peanut butter jelly with a peanut butter jelly. I stopped smoking cigarettes, now he tastes like key lime.
With the title and cover art referencing his wedding, combined with over 20 cringe bars about his wife throughout the album, and I don't even know if I should call them bars, as well as of course his corny hot shower song, this one single album would simultaneously freeze all of Chance the Rapper's mainstream popularity, while also at the same time, driving away his core fan base.
I am genuinely feeling like a strong 0 on.
Wow.
Literal 0 from Fantano is pretty rare. But yet, as bad as Chance the Rapper's debut album was, the way that he responded though to all of his negative criticism was arguably even worse. But before we see this, just quickly note, as we'll learn in a sec, his recent behavior is a complete change from the immature way he acted in the past. You're a spoiled child who thinks artists are making music for you, reads this tweet by Chance back in 2019. I never intended for you to find or like anything I made. If I knew you existed, I would have tried my hardest to keep you from being able to enjoy it. Now, go eat again. That again word there is very important to highlight, because unfortunately, this is actually just one of multiple tweets that Chance ended up posting, firing back at people who didn't like his music and telling them to eat continuing on to also block any account who disagreed. The sad fact is though, this was only the start of Chance the Rapper's childish behavior, because rather than simply just admitting that he made a bad album that fans hated, after also being forced to cancel his 32-date arena tour in support of the big day, despite claiming that it was to, quote, spend time with his family.
Frosted Flakes good?
We know how that be, man, when they be canceling tours and saying they gotta be with their family, man.
Quickly come to light. Despite claiming that it was to, quote, spend time with his family, the real truth would quickly come to light. In December of 2020, Chance the Rapper was slammed with a lawsuit suing for millions by his ex-manager, Pat Corcoran, alleging breach of contract. Not only would this lawsuit prove the real reason that Chance the Rapper's Big Day tour was cancelled, but also more importantly, exactly why his last album was such a flop.
Disappointing news for fans of Chance the Rapper. The Chicago artist announced on Instagram that he is canceling his upcoming tour. He says he is going to take some time off to be with his family and make some new music.
In the lawsuit, Pat claimed that Chance the Rapper fired him from being his manager and then replaced him with his own father, Ken, and his brother, Taylor Bennett, so basically his yes men, due to, quote, fan disappointment in Chance's most recent album and underwhelming fan support for its associated tour. It turns out that, rather than Chance's obvious excuse of spending time with his family, the Big Day tour was actually cancelled due to, as his ex-manager states, historically low ticket sales. However, it gets even worse. Instead of spending those 3 years from 2016 to 2019 to work hard on his debut album while fans waited patiently, according to his former manager, Chance had instead announced his Big Day album just 5 months prior to its release, before he even started working on it. Given the significant amount of work, care, and attention needed to produce an album, the lawsuit reads, his manager expressed serious concern with the projected release date that Chance had announced by himself for the album. Also, in view of the commitments Chance had in 2019, including his own wedding, it was likely there was not enough time for the creative process in releasing an album. Thus, procrastination and lackadaisical effort resulted in a rushed, freestyle-driven product of subpar quality, a complete deviation from the meticulous writing process that had brought Chance fame for his wordplay and wit. But, to be honest though, subpar quality is putting it very nicely.
Oh, I love my wife. I love my wife. To ride a bike with my wife.
Chance the Rapper's debut album was universally hated, and after what we just learned, it makes sense why. Spending only 5 months on a rush project while also trying to plan his wedding. However, despite Chance himself admitting that the Big Day was a total miss, I had an F-, but that's behind us. So is that really true? Did Chance the Rapper actually learn from his previous mistakes? If you thought 3 years was a long time to wait between releasing albums, Chance the Rapper would then double that and go 6 between his disastrous release of The Big Day and his newest album titled Starline.
Years is a long time, and every time I hear that, it sounds so crazy to me, but like, I got kids telling me like, man, the last time you dropped, I was in grade school. Yeah. I'm a grandfather. Like, maybe it happened. It was like, so it does feel like a long time.
When Chance the Rapper's 4th official project finally released in August, I don't think any of us knew what to expect. However, for Chance himself though, he made it his mission to give us nothing less than his best effort. Chance the Rapper initially began teasing his 4th project Starline all the way back in the summer of 2022, with the caption, "I'll be ready to go," on this post of his Starline trailer. Again, with the Big Day still fresh in fans' minds, this follow-up album for Chance was basically do or die, and you could tell that he felt this too. But although the longer he waited and pushed back his album's release, the more damage he did to his mainstream popularity. Rather than messing around for 3 years though, like he did before recording The Big Day. Instead, this time, Chance the Rapper was locked in on improving his craft. We didn't see or hear from him too much at this time. Well, aside from serving as a judge on the TV show The Voice, and then going viral back in 2023 for this clip right here, getting lit in Jamaica during his 30th birthday party.
Look at me, look at the camera. Yeah. And then look. Oh shit. Oh, and then look at the look off like I didn't see the camera. Oh yeah, I see the camera.
As you're about to see, this video would also play a part in Chance's divorce from his wife. But before splitting from the woman that he loved so much, Chance the Rapper would begin the rollout for his new project by releasing what he labeled as writing exercises, ranging anywhere from short snippets and verses to then entire full songs, sharing over 20 of these exercises with fans, which were all released next to a video displaying different art pieces, all created by black artists by the way, as well as adding his lyrics in the middle for us to read. Again, it was obvious that Chance the Rapper was serious about making better music, and hopefully making a comeback as a result.
Storyboarded this thing in my mind where I wanted to make a video where the artist, which is me obviously, is not the subject of the video, but the song is the subject of the video. So that's where I came up with that idea doing the text. Once I did that and saw how people were able to understand some of the, some of the things that I'm saying and where I was coming from, I was like, oh, this is gonna be my visual language.
Writing exercise number 5, he shared on Instagram back in 2023. Still struggling to get everything off my chest in healthy ways. Art for the heart's sake. By the way guys, speaking of Instagram, I'm really trying to grow over there. So if you want to stay up to date on when my new videos are dropping, please consider following me on there too. Sometimes I'll just be making a record without a broader idea in mind. I'll just create to be creating, and those, they keep me sharp and they're part of the residency. Making hella art, some of which you don't show. Now, you may be thinking, the concept of recording a lot of music may sound pretty simple, since, he is an artist, and that's his literal job. However, for Chance the Rapper though, compared to his previous approach with the big day and rushing out a completely lazy product, for Chance, this was a big improvement.
It's a lot of things that happened in between my last project and this day, because it was 6 years ago. I've also learned ways of being more in touch with my fans, so I've just invited secretly fans in different cities to come out and listen to the works as it went on. And
Chance the Rapper was more motivated than ever to prove his doubters wrong. So, did all of his hard work pay off? Well, unfortunately, right before his new album finally released, Chance found himself right back in headlines for the wrong reasons. Despite dedicating an entire album to her and becoming the guy known on the internet for loving his wife, who he also shares 2 children with, in December of 2024, it was revealed that Chance the Rapper and his wife were filing for a divorce. After a period of separation, the 2 of us have arrived at the decision to part ways, Chance typed on his story. The divorce was then made official, only adding more fuel to his fire. But with his wife out of the picture, the stage was now set for Chance the Rapper, the once beloved star, to try and pull off one of the biggest comebacks rap had ever seen. Surprise, it's the boy who lived, reads the very first opening lyric from Chance. Surprise, it's the boy from the premature burial. At a concise 16 tracks and a cover art similar to the legendary acid rap, which, while some believe it was AI generated, this artist right here actually designed it. Although, in my opinion, Starline is not the best music that Chance the Rapper has ever released in his career, I think all of us will definitely agree. Starline was a major step up from the big day.
Yo, Chance shit is...
It's amazing!
Chance is kind of back.
This is the best comeback album I've heard in a long time.
But this album is really good.
It's one of my favorite. It's definitely my favorite album this year. I'm not saying it's the best for y'all to jump on me, but it's absolutely my favorite. I need to listen to it more.
Look, he easily could have just disappeared from the face of the planet after such a record, such an album cycle. I'm sure there was even a minute where he was considering doing so, but he actually came through. He actually did it.
Combined with his obvious increase in effort, Chance's new album Starline also hears him reunite with familiar voices, including Lil Wayne and even Vic Mensa, on the fire track Back to the Go, in an attempt to return back to his original roots.
The whole project sounds like me. It sounds like Chance the Rapper, but I'm just raw. I had to remind myself who I am.
Context is good to give to people. I've been working on it for 5 or 6 years. It's 16 tracks long. I think in the past 6 years, I learned a ton about friendship, community, loyalty. I was 20 when Acid Rap came out. I was 21 when I had my first kid. I'm 32 now, so...
As easily the most mature and most personal album that Chance the Rapper has ever released, all the way down to learning cinematography himself in order to improve his music videos.
I focused a lot on learning how to use a camera, how to, direct, how to edit, how to, cinematography is the big thing that I'm really into now.
Starline is proof that even a little bit of effort goes a long way. However, despite all of the positive reviews and feedback from fans, as we can read according to Billboard, Chance the Rapper's Starline is projected to only sell 22,000 in first week units, and debut at number 18. Compared to Chance's numbers in the past, such as 108K first week and a number 2 debut on Billboard, strictly off stats, Starline is a big decrease. However, the truth is, not only is Chance a totally independent artist, but after 6 years out of the spotlight, and on the heels of such a hated album, lower stats were always to be expected. What's more important is that the music is actually much better, and that he's not telling fans to eat dicks if we don't like it. So, while Chance the Rapper's time as a top superstar in the game is likely behind us forever, at 32 years old, Chance just proved one thing. His story is far from finished.
Damn. I'm not gonna lie, after listening to all those opinions and all those people hype up the project, I might actually have to make a reaction, man. I might have to do something on the channel because it looks like it's something that I would enjoy. I did listen to a couple of the singles that he released and I was messing with him. I don't think any of them actually made it to the playlist, but I was enjoying them, and just to see him put up 6 years on a project, that's a lot of work. And I used to really mess with Chance, I used to mess with his sound, so I really want to see what he's up to and where he's at right now. So that might be coming out soon, y'all. Be on the lookout for that, man. Chance Project reaction. But let me know what y'all think. Let me know if y'all checked out the project. What did y'all think of it? Rate it 1 to 10 in the comments below. And let me know what y'all thought, right? Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Thank you guys so much. If you enjoyed, be sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe. And I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.
Alright. Yeah. I'm getting gritty on these niggas. I'm getting gritty on these bitches. Here we go, another talking again. Yeah. I'm getting gritty on these niggas. I'm getting gritty on these bitches. Here we go, another talking again. I'm getting gritty on these niggas. I'm getting gritty on these bitches.